Welcome to Mr. Evil, the most terrifying corner on YouTube, where secrets and unsolved cases hide in the dark. Here we dive into the world of puzzles and brutal murders and bloody crimes, where we reveal the most horrifying cases and the latest investigations without leaving any terrifying details undiscovered. Get ready for the journey through the most evil aspects of our world, where deadly secrets await to be revealed. Subscribe now and join us in uncovering the secrets hidden in the dark, and don't miss a moment of this terrifying journey through the shadows. Scary story. What if the world was overrun by the undead, those horrific creatures that feed on the flesh of the living? What if a survivor's only hope is to find a portal to another world where they can start over? What if one man, a lone ranger, sacrificed everything to protect the living and found love where it was most unlikely? What if his love was threatened by the hunters, the elite of the undead, who followed him through the portal, vowing to kill him and everyone he cared about? If you want to know the answer, watch with us, and we promise that you will be shocked by what you will discover. The night was dark and stormy, the wind howling like a banshee. Ark crouched behind a pile of rubble, clutching his shotgun tightly. He scanned the horizon with his night vision goggles, looking for any sign of movement. He knew they were out there, waiting for him to make a mistake. They always were. He had been on this mission for 3 days, scouting the area for a possible portal location. Portal was the only hope for the survivors, a chance to escape this hellish world and start anew somewhere else. But finding one was not easy. They were hidden, guarded, and unstable, and the undead were everywhere, hunting them down like prey. Ark had seen things that no human should ever see. He had witnessed the fall of civilization, the rise of the undead, and the evolution of the horror. He had lost his family, his friends, and his humanity. He had become a soldier, a killer, and a survivor. He had no fear, no remorse, and no regrets. He had only one purpose: to protect the living. He checked his radio, hoping to hear from his team. They had split up to cover more ground, but they were supposed to check in every hour. It had been 2 hours since the last contact. He tried to call them, but there was no answer. He cursed under his breath, wondering if they were still alive. He decided to move on, hoping to find them or the portal. He crept along the ruins of the city, avoiding the main roads and the open spaces. He knew the undead were smarter than they looked. They could set traps, ambushes, and decoys. They could communicate, coordinate, and cooperate. They could even use weapons, tools, and vehicles. They were no longer mindless zombies, but cunning predators. He reached a crossroad where he saw a sign that read "Welcome to New Haven." He recognized the name. It was one of the last safe zones in the country, a fortified town that had resisted the undead for years. He wondered if it was still standing, or if it had fallen like the others. He decided to take a detour and check it out. Maybe he could find some supplies, some survivors, or some clues. He followed the sign, hoping for the best. He soon regretted his decision. As he approached the town, he saw a scene of carnage and chaos. The walls were breached, the buildings were burning, and the streets were littered with corpses. The undead had overrun the town, slaughtering everyone in their path. He saw them feasting on the flesh of the dead, tearing them apart with their teeth and claws. He heard their growls, their hisses, and their laughter. He felt their eyes, their hunger, and their malice. He was about to turn back when he saw something that caught his attention. It was a large metal gate with a sign that read "Portal." It was guarded by a dozen undead armed with rifles, shotguns, and grenades. They looked different from the others. They had armor, helmets, and badges. They had a symbol on their chests, a skull with a crosshair. They were the hunters, the elite of the undead, the ones who hunted the living for sport. Ark felt a surge of anger mixed with curiosity. He wondered what was behind the gate and why the hunters were guarding it. He wondered if it was the portal he was looking for or something else. He wondered if he could get past them or if he should try. He made up his mind. He took out his shotgun, loaded it with shells, and cocked it. He aimed at the nearest hunter and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed in the night, followed by a scream of pain. The hunter fell to the ground, clutching his chest. The others turned around, startled by the noise. They saw Ark standing in the open, holding his shotgun. They raised their weapons, ready to fire. Ark knew he had no chance. He was outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched. He knew he was going to die, but he didn't care. He had nothing to lose and nothing to fear. He had only one thing to do, to fight. He fired again, hitting another hunter in the head. He dropped his shotgun and drew his knife. He charged at the nearest hunter, slashing his throat. He grabbed his rifle and shot another hunter in the leg. He threw a grenade and blew up 2 more hunters. He dodged a bullet and stabbed a hunter in the eye. He kicked a hunter in the groin and broke his neck. He fought like a madman, a demon, a hero. He killed 6 hunters, wounded 2, and scared the rest. He reached the gate and pushed it open. He saw a bright light, a swirling vortex, a portal. He smiled and stepped through. He was gone. The remaining hunters stared at the gate, stunned by what they had seen. They had never encountered such a fierce and fearless opponent. They had never felt such fear and respect. They had never seen such a display of courage and madness. They looked at each other and nodded. They knew what they had to do. They had to follow him, to hunt him, to kill him. They had to finish the game. They picked up their weapons and ran to the gate. They entered the portal, one by one. They were gone. The gate closed behind them, leaving the town in silence. The storm raged on. Ark opened his eyes and gasped. He felt a surge of pain, followed by a wave of relief. He was alive. He had made it. He looked around and blinked. He was in a different place, a different world. He saw a blue sky, a green grass, and a yellow sun. He smelled the fresh air, a sweet flower, and a warm breeze. He heard a bird song, a water stream, and a human voice. He was in paradise. He got up and stumbled. He was weak, wounded, and weary. He had lost a lot of blood and a lot of energy. He had barely survived the portal and the transition. He needed to rest, to heal, to recover. He saw a figure approaching him. It was a woman, a beautiful woman. She had long blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a radiant smile. She wore a white dress, a red scarf, and a golden necklace. She looked like an angel, a goddess, a miracle. She was his salvation. She reached him and embraced him. She felt his pulse, his breath, and his wound. She spoke to him, softly, gently, kindly. "Hello, stranger. Welcome to Eden. You are safe here. I am Eve, and I will take care of you." She helped him and led him. She took him to a hut, a cozy hut. She gave him a bed, a soft bed. She brought him a food, a delicious food. She offered him a drink, a refreshing drink. She treated him with a medicine, a healing medicine. She nursed him and healed him. She stayed with him and talked to him. She asked him his name, his story, and his purpose. She told him her name, her story, and her purpose. She was the leader of Eden, a small community of survivors. They had found the portal a few years ago and had escaped from the undead. They had arrived in this world, a new world, and had settled here. They had built a home, a peaceful home, and had lived here. They had no enemies, no troubles, and no worries. They were happy. Ark listened to her and smiled. He liked her, he trusted her, and he felt something for her. He told her his name, his story, and his purpose. He told her about the undead, the hunters, and the portal. He told her about his team, his mission, and his sacrifice. He was the last of his kind, a lone sentinel. He had fought the undead, the hunters, and the portal. He had lost his team, his mission, and his sacrifice. He had no home, no family, and no friends. He was alone. Eve comforted him and hugged him. She felt sorry for him. She admired him, and she felt something for him. She told him that he was not alone, that he had a home, and that he had a friend. She told him that he could stay in Eden, that he could join the community, and that he could be with her. She was his friend, his companion, and his lover. Ark accepted her and kissed her. He was grateful to her, he was loyal to her, and he loved her. He agreed to stay in Eden, to join the community, and to be with her. He was happy. They spent the next few days together in bliss. They explored the world, they enjoyed the nature, and they celebrated the life. They met the people, they joined the activities, and they shared the joy. They made love, they cuddled, and they slept. They were in love. Ark felt a change in himself and in his life. He felt a peace, a warmth, and a happiness. He felt a hope, a faith, and a meaning. He felt alive for the first time in a long time. He was reborn. He forgot about the undead, the hunters, and the portal. He forgot about his past, his pain, and his loss. He forgot about his duty, his honor, and his purpose. He forgot everything except Eve. He was hers, and she was his. They were one, but their happiness was short-lived, for the hunters had followed him through the portal and into the world. They had tracked him, found him, and watched him. They had waited, planned, and prepared. They had gathered their forces, armed their weapons, and set their traps. They were ready to strike and to kill. They attacked at dawn when the sun was rising and the people were sleeping. They stormed the town with a fury and a vengeance. They shot the guards, blew up the walls, and burned the buildings. They killed the men, the women, and the children. They spared no one, showed no mercy, and took no prisoners. They were ruthless, savage, and cruel. They reached the hut where Ark and Eve were sleeping, unaware of the danger. They kicked the door, threw a grenade, and entered the room. They saw Ark and Eve lying on the bed, holding each other. They aimed their guns, pulled their triggers, and fired their bullets. They were cold, heartless, and evil. Ark woke up and screamed. He felt a pain, a shock, and a horror. He saw the hunters, the guns, and the bullets. He saw Eve, the blood, and the wound. He saw her die in his arms with a smile. He was devastated. He grabbed his shotgun and fought back. He shot the hunters, one by one, with a rage. He killed them all, without mercy, without remorse. He avenged Eve and the others with a justice. He was a hero. But he was too late, for Eve was gone, and so were the others. He was alone, again, in a world of death. He had nothing left, nothing to live for, nothing to fight for. He had nothing. He dropped his shotgun and cried. He cried for Eve, for the others, and for himself. He cried for the world, for the life, and for the love. He cried for everything that he had lost and that he would never have. He cried until he had no tears left. He looked at the portal, still open, still shining. He wondered if he should go back to his world, to his duty. He wondered if he could find another portal, to another world, to another chance. He wondered if he could find another Eve, another love, another happiness. He wondered if he could live again. He made up his mind. He took Eve's body and carried it. He walked to the portal and entered it. He left the world and the hunters behind. He was gone. Portal closed behind him, leaving the world in silence. The sun rose on. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.